The term of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Serious Allegations of Fraud and Corruption, or PRECIFAC, concludes today. H.W. Gunadasa, the Commission's Secretary, informed Newsfirst that a request has been made to the President to extend the term by 6 months. He added that the President's decision would be communicated to the Commission within the coming week.
The Presidential Commission of Inquiry into Serious Acts of Fraud and Corruption, or PRECIFAC, was appointed with a mandate to inquire into large-scale acts of fraud and corruption between 2010 and 2015. The 5-member commission, comprising entirely of judges, is chaired by Justice Padman Surasena of the Court of Appeal. Commission Secretary H.W. Gunadasa says that while the Commission initially received more than 2,000 complaints, it was decided to investigate 400. Gunadasa added that investigations into 17 cases had been completed and that the reports have been submitted to the President. Several controversial issues were considered by PRECIFAC. Among these, the misuse of state media to publish and broadcast election campaign messages of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. PRECIFAC considered the financial loss caused to the country as a result. Namal Rajapaksa too was summoned before the Commission to testify on this case. PRECIFAC also investigated the loss caused to the state as a result of using employees of the security company Ratna Arakshaka Lanka for the election campaign of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa was questioned by the Commission on several occasions with regard to the investigation into handing over weaponry belonging to Ratna Arakshaka Lanka to avant-garde security services. Statements were recorded from several individuals, including prominent artists, over allegations of fraud and corruption in organising the opening ceremony of the Hambantota port. Former Minister Basil Rajapaksa was questioned by the Commission over the misuse of state-owned helicopters during the presidential election campaign. PRECIFAC is also engaged in an ongoing investigation into a loss to the state of 15.5 billion rupees caused by importing rice in 2014, exceeding the amount approved by Cabinet. While PRECIFAC has completed investigations into 17 serious acts of fraud and corruption that occurred in the country, it is now in the process of drafting a final report. While the term ends today, the Commission Secretary noted that investigations are continuing into 2 more cases of irregularities at Sri Lankan Airlines and irregularities in district-level projects undertaken by the National Water Supply and Drainage Board. 120 complaints submitted to the Commission have been redirected to the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division, the Criminal Investigations Department, and the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, or CIABOC, via the Presidential Secretariats. 6 reports on investigations completed by PRECIFAC have been submitted to the Attorney General's Department for further action. Attorney General Jayantha Jayasuriya says the process of filing indictments has commenced. I was removed from the Commission in March 2016. Within a year, for the first time in history, we were investigating a former president. We summoned individuals like the former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Senadipati from avant-garde, and we conducted investigations successfully. But throughout that time, pressure was exerted on us. During our investigation into Lak Satosa, ministers like Ravi Karunanayaka, Vajirabe Wardana, Hakim and Rishad Badiuddin attempted to influence us. These ministers too should be brought before the law. The government is accountable for these investigations and the safety of the investigating officers. From the Prime Minister downwards, they are all protecting the thieves. They have made deals. Recently, they closed down one anti-corruption agency. 4 days after the 30th of June, when the Anti-Corruption Committee Secretariat's term ended, the Prime Minister submitted a cabinet paper seeking approval. The term of the Presidential Commission, which was appointed to catch thieves, the commission which is at the BMICH, their term is ending now, and it must be extended by the President. If it is not extended, it will die a natural death. 15 complaints that were filed with PRECIFAC have been investigated. The indictments must be filed and it must go to trial now. But the indictments are not being filed. The government received a mandate to catch thieves. The thieves and the government are working together to steal.